I wanted to talk about this excessive force by hospital police officers against mentally ill patient. This article says excessive force by police chief's son leads to cover up at Napa State Hospital. Here's another one also that states Napa State Hospital officers covered up excessive use of force. Investigators found. But I want to talk about the first article and what it says there. So let's go back to this story. So this is about the hospital police at Napa who used excessive force against a mentally ill patient. One of the police officers, Michael Oscaragi, who's the son of chief of police at hospital police at Napa. The other hospital police officers are Jose Becerra, Vong Trong, Stuart Donaldson, and Ross Tweedy. According to this hospital police, they felt threatened by this 64-year-old 5'4" patient, and that this patient pushed Michael Oscaragi, who's 6 feet tall. So, the mentally ill patient's face was smashed on the wall, and this patient ended up losing several teeth. According to a doctor who witnessed this, on quote, "It was the most brutal takedown that I've ever seen in 11 years that I work here." So after they saw Alvarez's face and how he was missing teeth, they exaggerated their report, which is the hospital police exaggerated the report to justify the excessive force so Alvarez, the mentally ill patient, would go to jail. According to another doctor, Dr. Domingo Languitan, there was an internal pressure to send the patient to jail. According to him, he was told to put the required medical recommendation so this patient would go to jail. Dr. Languitan said he had never done this before. Alvarez's lawyer, whose name is Karen Silver, said the hospital police lied to cover their asses. According to her, after they saw what they did to his face, they have to charge him with something to cover themselves. Now let's see what the hospital staff has to say on their account. So if you type Napa excessive hospital police excessive force, you'll find this article. After the investigators, state investigators, interviewed the medical staff, doctors, the medical staff, they had a different. They said different things than the police, and this is what they said. So it says here, dozens of people were in the courtyard that day. State investigators interviewed 5 patients and 6 medical staff, none of whom reported seeing Alvarez fight back against police. None of whom reported seeing Alvarez fight back against police. Staff members said they were surprised when Oscaragi tackled Alvarez. So Oscaragi is the son of the chief of police, who's also a hospital police. He says they were surprised when Oscaragi tackled Alvarez, taking him into the wall. Now, as you all know, after they called Alvarez, the patient, he said he lost several teeth during this incident. According to the medical staff, Alvarez was on his own in the yard and was not an imminent threat and did not have a weapon. The procedure would have been to try to talk to the patient and get him to move into a side room to calm down. Instead, they slammed his face on the wall, causing several of his teeth to fall out. Is this right against a mentally ill patient? Who's watching out for the mentally ill patient? Is the state watching out for the mentally ill patient? Who's fighting for the mentally ill patient? This is some of the things that you got to ask. And remember, Governor Newsom passed a new law about excessive force. And what happened to that? I mean, the public deserve a right to know whether these guys were disciplined or how they were disciplined. I mean, this hospital police, this inky-dinky police officers who are not even post-certified like the LAPD and the sheriffs can get away with this. Are they above the law more than any other people? You got to remember why they have different accounts on what happened. Okay, some of these police officers, after they did this, they were afraid they were going to lose their job. So unethically, they have to defend themselves by arresting this guy and making false report. Now, this medical staff, which amazes me, the doctors and the medical staff, they were very honest. This is the reason. Let me tell you the reason why. A lot of the police, just like I said on my other videos, they become police officers because they have type A personality, and a lot of them are very aggressive. A lot of these doctors and medical staff people, they do this job because they're compassionate people and they want to help the mentally ill, and so they have no reason to lie. And if they know that they would lie, it would be against their dignity and against their belief. So they were very honest about what happened. So here's another one. If you read this, it says a psychiatric technician. This is when they talked to the state investigator. A psychiatric technician also chuckled, meaning laughed, and disputed the description that Alvarez turned toward and threatened the officers before House Carnegie tackled him. This internal investigation says. That technician was also quoted in police reports saying that Alvarez verbally threatened the officers, which she told investigators she never said. Here's a psychiatric technician that has everything to lose by telling the truth, but yet her dignity stayed strong and she told the truth. I mean, some technician would be like, well, if I lie, I need these police officers to protect me. But down deep inside her, she's there to, to be a civil worker for the patients and to help the mentally ill. And she's not up for lying. And here she is being truthful. To be honest with you, there's not many people like this medical staffs who are very honest in this world. State investigators referred to House Carnegie for potential criminal charges of patient abuse and battery to Napa County prosecutors. They also referred to McCullough for potential false arrest and perjury charges because, as you all know, they lied on their report. And Miss Silver, the attorney for Alvarez, clearly stated that. And the worst part about this is they don't tell us whether this officers were disciplined. I know their payments their paid were reduced for 10 months, some of them, but the public deserves to know if they're being disciplined. I mean, the police cannot just do this. They cannot just do this. They're not above the law, and the public deserves to know, and the governor deserves to know this. And if you're a lawyer and you go to the profession, not to make money, but to help people, this is something you should look at. I repeat, doing this thing, in just my opinion, like these bad things to people, there's going to be karma later on. And we'll just see.